Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on my reef tank. And first I'm going to be showing you how I maintain my reef tank, as in like doing water changes, cleaning out pumps, and all that kind of stuff, like maintenance, and how I keep my nutrients well controlled kind of at the moment. I'm trying to reduce them because they're quite high at like 20 ppm, but I got a water change coming up, about a 50% water change, maybe just over that, 60%, coming very soon, which will reduce them by quite a lot. So first we're going to start off with cleaning out the return pump. So I've never actually opened up the return pump. I had a little bit of trouble actually opening it because I never knew actually how to open it, because I've never done it before. So the pump's been running for 3 months, I believe. Yes, 3 months, nothing being cleaned out. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like inside. So let's start dismantling it. So first we'll need to get the outlet nozzle. That's what we'll clean first. Not really much came out of that. I wouldn't really expect much to come out of that anyway. So that's the pump there. It's got that little end bit which attaches onto a tube that goes down there, down into the filter. So first I've got this little brush that came with the tank. It's a brilliant brush. It's actually designed to clean that outlet nozzle there, and it's a brilliant brush. I use it for everything. And that's the brush that came with this skimmer as well. I use that for the neck of the skimmer to clean out that. Ideally, it's not really supposed to be used for this kind of pump stuff. It's a bit too big. So that's 3 months. There's not really much on there. So, and keep in mind that there isn't much bioload in the tank. There's only 4 fish. I'm going to be having like 9, or well, I could probably have up to 10 fish in that, since I've got quite a beefy skimmer on it. So the amount of gunk that's on the pump currently will increase slowly as I start adding in more bioload into the tank. So ideally you want to be cleaning this pump out minimum every 2 months, depending on how much bioload you got in. It will vary, every tank will vary, but 4 to 6 weeks is a good range. You want to be doing it in between 4 to 6 weeks. Because this is literally the life support system of your tank. You don't want this stopping, because all livestock's going to die. So that was quite easy to do. Very interesting. I was expecting a lot more gunk to be inside that, considering it's 3 months and there is 4 fish in there. I mean, I'd expect a lot more than that, but it's barely anything. This wave pump, so I was just cleaning out the cage of it, the whole shell of it. Just to get some of the algae on it. This was quite dirty. This is the first time I've done this as well. This is the J-Cod SOW20. It's an 8,500 litre hour pump. I have that on full power, because I will be adding another one, because at the moment it's not... I mean, it's enough flow because I don't have a ton of coral in there, but when I start adding more corals, I'm going to have to get another wave pump first. I'm not 100% sure what one. But this one's been doing well. They're not massive in reliability, but for the price, they're brilliant, really cheap. I think this one was only like £80, which is quite cheap for a wave pump. You usually spend about at least in between 100 and 200 for an average wave pump. I know some of them are ridiculous money, like the Ecotech Vortec, I think it is. They're like really expensive. I don't really know why. But yeah, but if this was to fail anyway, it'd be a really cheap replacement. So definitely what I expected from this wave pump, quite average. Well, ideally I want to be doing this about same as the return pump, maybe in between 4 to 6 weeks, and that will increase the amount of dirtiness it's getting as well, as I increase the amount of fish stock in the tank. The controller is just up the top. I keep all my controllers on top. There was one in the middle there. You can see some of the sticky pads are still on the wall. That's fallen down. I'm going to have to re-stick that onto there. Not that I really use the controller anyway. It's always on full power, this little one, but it's a year old, and this is a slightly older version of the J-Cod wave pumps. So its reliability is probably not as good. But it's still alright. It still could last about a year, and I literally got this wave pump for 30 quid, which is nothing. £30 replacement once a year. I mean, that's really cheap. If you want to get another one of these, I got the other one I got is the SOW8, not 20. I said 20 earlier, but it's actually the SOW8. So we'll see what that does in the next year or so. The next thing I need to do is I need to brush off any dinoflagellates or any, it's mainly cyanobacteria, I think, that's hooked all over this overflow box, well, yeah, not overflow box, but that I got internal filter, which is a whole box in the corner. So the overflow there, loads of bits of, I think it's cyanobacteria. I still got small traces of in the tank, get hooked all over there. So I need to brush that off on a daily basis, really. And I've got this filter floss pad, which I do maximum 1 week, like absolute maximum. But ideally you want to do it every like 3 to 5 days. And I know a little bit still underneath. I've got a sponge there as well to trap any bits that fall off when I take it out, which I do clean that sponge out usually every water change, because I've got some spare water that I just take out of the tank, so I can use that water to clean it out in, which is quite helpful. So I usually do that whenever I do a water change, or whenever I need to if it's an emergency. And then put a fresh new pad in. I just buy this from my local fish store, I think. Yeah. You just buy a huge big pad of it, and then you cut them to size. Make sure they're not too thick. You don't need a massively thick. It only has to be a really thin pad to cover anything. Now I'm going to be cleaning out my skimmer. This is 2 days worth of stuff, and it was dialed not even half power. It's taken out quite a bit. It's just the common, early tank will go through different stages. It will be taking a lot out. I have turned it down a little bit, so it's not taking as much out, because that's 2 days and it's half full. It shouldn't be that much. I've tiled it down maybe about 35, maybe in between 30 and 40%, which is alright. Ideally, you want about half power. I will be slowly increasing it probably when I start adding more fish as well. So as I said earlier, this brush is really helpful to clean out the neck of the skimmer. It's the brush that came with this skimmer. It's absolutely brilliant, really helpful. Instead of like getting tissue in there, it's slightly, well, it's very off-putting. It's fish waste. It's really disgusting. So ideally you want to do this within a week, once a week at least. I did this 2 days ago, but as I said, it's gotten really full. So I think I jacked it up a little bit too much. So I've dialed it right back down. So it's taking out a lot less now. So I know I'm rinsing this out with tap water, but what I do afterwards is I thoroughly clean it all with some tissue afterwards, and I rinse it. I did rinse it in RO water to double check, because you want to make sure you don't get 0 traces of chlorine or tap water into your reef tank. Yeah, a few drops will probably be fine. If you've got a few drops of tap water, that'll be fine. But if you get like a cup full of it into the tank, then that will have some negative effects on your water chemistry. So I've just shooken that off there. Make sure you've got all the droplets off. I get some tissue all over it, clean off the brush as well. So I do store this in my cabinet, and it's going to have fish waste all over it. I did off camera as well, clean that even thoroughly as well, because loads of fish waste get stuck onto that, and I don't want my room smelling of all of that stuff. And then just rinse my hands as well. So this skimmer, yeah, it's running 24/7. It's a little loud. It's not massively loud. It's a little loud though. It is still in the process of breaking in. I've had it for about 2 months now, but I haven't had much bioload in the tanks. Once the tank's 6 months mature at least, it should be really quiet. They are known, these Tunzi skimmers are known to be really quiet. So I hope it does quieten down. So I believe we have one more thing to do in the tank, and that is fill up my RO Reservoir, which is the reservoir that I keep in the sump, and that's the LED lights that I didn't show in the last video, but I did say about it. I got the LED that came with the tank, which isn't great. It's just a really cheap, 2 LED bar system. One's blue, one's white. Lights up the cabinet, all right. I believe it's about a 40-litre container. I fill it up as much as I can. I just put a 5-litre jug in there just for the video, because I didn't want to just sit there pouring in some RO water for 20 minutes, so that'd be very boring. Sometimes I have to pull it out just a little bit. The jug's quite big and it's hard to get it in there. But yeah, it's only 40 litres, so it's quite like just a shimmy out of there. I know that's the doser on the right, not running at the moment. I'm only going to start dosing when I have to, which is when water changes won't be enough to keep my alkalinity, calcium, magnesium stable. I probably will be going for the Tropic Marine Alpha Reef stuff. It's this new stuff. I'm pretty sure it's new anyway. The that doses calcium, alkalinity and magnesium and all the trace elements all in one solution, which is brilliant. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's like. And what I also do as well, currently I'm only going to do it for the next week or so, is dinoflagellates. I just pump through all my rocks. I try not to blow the corals unless they have dinos on them, because I don't like to disturb them too much. So mainly just blow off all the rocks to make sure there's nothing, sometimes a little bit in the sand, but it's massively reducing. There's only it's 98% clean of dinoflagellates. It's just tiny little bits hooked on the wave pumps, and like I said earlier, hooked on the overflow, so I have to clean that out on a daily basis. So I still have the jug of water, well, RO water, that I use to clean out all of my wave pumps and all that, so I just tip all that down the sink to disperse all of that. And I'll just rinse the tap down, make sure I've got all the stuff down there, so I don't want the mother moaning saying, yeah, what's that in the sink, and and I'll just make a little bit of mess. Yeah, so that's how I maintain my reef tank. Still struggling slightly to get my nitrates down. I would like to keep them about 5-ish, but they're about 20 at the moment. But as I said, I've got a water change coming up very soon. So next video, I will probably be doing a video on my dad's tank, because he got his new tank a few weeks ago, and he's done the transfer. So it'll be exciting to see that on video. So you'll see that in the next video, and I'll see you then. Bye.